Hey everyone, I want to make a quick announcement about these kitchen locker cabinet. Came in here this morning, I took all my stuff out to replace a rivet that I have up there. That is, I believe, the first rivet that I've popped in this trailer since we've owned it. So pretty cool, but it's up here inside this cabinet. So I'll get that fixed. But more to the point, a friend of ours reached out to us the other day and said that their cabinet had fallen off the roof. Now, it wasn't a complete failure, but it did come separated on the door side. So it was a 25 Globetrotter, I believe is what it was. But it came loose on this end. So towards the door, the rear hatch, or the rear door. But in here, down in your cabinet down there is an L bracket. And you can see where screws or rivets are attached to the wall, and you can see where they're attached down to the cabinet itself. And then up in here, you see a screw, and then you see a rivet. And then if you go down, you'll see more screws and more rivets all the way down. Part of my inspection that I do monthly is I check all my cabinet drawers and check all the screws in the rig. I lubricate my windows, seals, my door seals. I lubricate my step. I lubricate my awning, etc. But I also check these screws. I get a screwdriver and I put it against that screw that's up in the roof and again against the locker, and I verify that they're tight. If they're ever loose, or worse, they're ever spinning, meaning you can't tighten it anymore, that means the wood is ripped out. So you got to repair that hole. Now, there are myriad ways to do it. One of the ways I've done it in the past, not in the cabinetry here, because I've never had that problem, but I have seen it a few times. But you can take some super glue and a toothpick and put the super glue on the toothpick and put the toothpick in the hole, break it off, and then run the screw back in the hole after it dries. That'll expand the hole. I've done that in our drawers down here one or two times when one was just kind of ripped out of the wood because it was tightened too tight or something. You can find a myriad of other ways to fill a wooden hole, but these cabinets are wood on the back side of this laminate that's over the top of them, and I've never seen the bracket on the wall or the roof fail. I've just seen the wood screws rip out of the wood. So please make that part of your checks. Also, the cabinet over your kitchen sink is not meant for heavy things. So if you have pots and pans up there, please consider putting them somewhere else. Maybe even dishes up there, unless you have the Mylamar, whatever that light plastic stuff is, very lightweight stuff up here. It should not be anything up here heavy. We have baskets with our few Yeti cups and coffee cups and things like that we have up there, but it's very light and don't carry heavy things up there. So please check your systems. Also, I had a pop rivet up here in this cabinet, and you can see the hole. That's what it looks like. I covered it up with some tape. This is the way I do rivets. I cover it up with a little piece of tape, and I take my little screwdriver so I can know where the hole is. And then I get my drill bit. It's a 1/8 of an inch drill bit, and I make sure that I have it super short so I would never drill through the outside of the trailer. And I'm going to drill out, and this is not necessary every single time. Sometimes the head shears off. That makes this necessary. If it's the whole rivet pops out, which is pretty rare, but it's most times the head shears off and it's just left with that piece. So that prevents me from putting a new rivet in. I can't even get it in the hole here. So it's stuck there. So with a drill bit, a 1/8 of an inch drill bit, very light pressure, I'll start drilling. And you'll typically feel right as soon as it breaks through, and then you have a new hole there. So then I verify with my rivet. Make sure it will go all the way against the wall. I get my rivet gun. And do it till it pops off. Now I'll pull my tape off. Why do you put the tape? Because sometimes if you're missing, you may scratch your interior skin, something like that. Not ideal. And then you can take your tape It's nice doing it up here in the cabinets because I can take my tape and I can pick up all these little aluminum shavings from my drill bit. Otherwise, it's going to be in the floor and everywhere else. All right, rivet replaced, cabinets checked. Since I made that video, that was the last rivet I replaced, but I changed out my rivet gun to this Milwaukee rivet gun. This thing is spendy, but replacing a rivet is so much easier because it instead of the jerky motion of opening and closing a rivet hand powered rivet gun, this one is a smooth application, so it pulls the backside of that rivet closed smoothly and breaks it off smoothly. And back here in this little canister are where all of your rivet pieces go, the extra piece that breaks off. So if you're doing a big rivet job or you just got money to burn, you want to buy something cool, that's one of the best tools I've ever had. Gil, a friend of ours, Gil and Lane, thank you guys very much. He told me to buy this thing years ago, and I've just refused to buy one until now. But now that I have it, I'm very glad I do, because I've helped a couple people replace some rivets around and doing some little projects of my own outside of this rig. It has been a lifesaver, so highly recommend it.